24 hours in for 7 days a week. Me, I don't get tired, I let you other niggas get sleep. Turn up for that check and yeah, I get it out the streets. Hustle like I'm starving, going hard, I got
What's up, everybody? This your man. This your favorite strength coach. It's your boy, Coach Shabazz. It's your podcast. Oh, damn. Episode 14. 14. 14. Shout out to my LB, my dude, DJ23, Tim Hurd. He's the 14th member of our line. I just made everybody on my line just hate on 2-3 because I didn't shout them out when I especially my link, my 8 dog, Jamal. All right, man, let me chill. Look, man, number 14. Listen, man, I previewed the topic a couple days ago. The topic is, how on earth do I land that big NIL deal? How do I land that scholarship? How do I land that opportunity I've been fighting so hard for, dreaming about all these years, all this time? How do I get it? How do I capitalize? How do I take advantage? How do I maximize the opportunity? How do I create the opportunity? I kind of gave it away just a little bit. But before I get into that, I got to speak on an event that I was a part of yesterday. And it was a group of young entrepreneurs over at the University of Memphis. What I tell you, I was absolutely, first of all, I was honored that they asked me to come and speak. Second of all, I was blown away by the actual event that these young cats put on. And when I tell you it blew me away, I was blown away for multiple reasons. First reason was because Memphis was literally just ranked the number one most dangerous city in the United States just 2 days ago. And it was so refreshing that young college kids put on an incredible event that's encouraging local entrepreneurs or people who want to be entrepreneurs to come hear from myself, hear from this incredible investment insurance specialist, investment specialist. Her name is Jamie. Forgive me, Jamie. I can't remember the last name, but when by the time I'm done, I'm gonna have everybody's IG posted on here so everybody can get a hold of everybody on here. What Jamie and I both tried to do was to pour into these young people and encourage them. She had the strategic plan inside as far as how to invest, the way you invest, what to invest in, strategies as far as investment, growing your money long term. My job was basically to encourage the young entrepreneurs to keep going. You know, understand that being an entrepreneur is hard, but it's incredibly rewarding. I mean, when I say hard, it's hard every day. You know, it's a challenge every day. One takeaway that I want everybody to understand is that the people closest to you are not going to be the ones that support you the most. Most are actually strangers, meaning the people who support your business. To support a business means to pay for the service that the business offers. To support a business means to financially make sure that the business is stable. Whatever products they sell, buy them. Whatever merchandise they sell, buy them. Share them all over social media so that the business can grow financially. That's how you support a business. And what I was trying to get the young entrepreneurs to understand is that a lot of times you got to grow thick skin and understand that the ones who you think are going to support probably won't. The ones you have no clue are going to ever even think about supporting, they're probably going to support the fastest. So it was an absolutely incredible event. Shout out to the 4 young brothers who put on the event again. I'm going to get all 4. Hold on, bro. Let me do this right now. All right, here we go. I wanted to reset real quick because I said it was 4 young men, and I want to make sure I shout out all 4 of them properly. Miles, my bad. I did not mean to forget you at all, young brother. So it was Miles, it was Devin, it was George, and it was Fred, the 4 young men who put on this incredible event. Massive shout out to you guys. Absolutely love the event again. Was honored that you guys even invited me to come and speak. I try to give you my absolute best, that you see the passion and the drive and the love for what I do, and try to get you guys to understand that to maximize what you want to do, you need a little bit of that. Matter of fact, you need a lot of it, because you're going to fight a lot of adversity. You're going to fight a lot of doubt, a lot of doubters, haters, all this nonsense. and you have to be so self-confident and self-assured that regardless of any of it, we can just continue to push forward. So that was just a rundown of the event from yesterday. Okay, so how on earth, if I'm 14, 15 years old, yeah, that early, how do I capitalize on NIL, scholarships, and opportunities? I said 14 and 15 years old. So if you're a little older than that, I want you to make sure that a young person that's younger than me, a little brother, little cousin, anybody that may be in sports, maybe in athletics, I need you to make sure that they hear this. Now, it's not too late for juniors and seniors, but it's going to be way harder. If you're 14, if you're 15 years old, you got to start building your resume right now. Meaning, first off, in order to be eligible for scholarships, academic or athletic, coaches are going to look at your grades. They're going to look at your academics. Is this kid serious about his grades? Does he have all D's and C's and F's on his report card? Or does he have all A's and B's on his report card? Have they taken the ACT? Have they taken the SAT? You know, do they get into trouble at school? Do they have disciplinary problems? Any of that stuff, okay? And your high school career starts at age 14, 15 years old. So if you're thinking that you want to go to college, you want to have an opportunity to go to college, you want to have an opportunity to be one of the few that can get an NIL deal, you better be on point starting right now. And I mean very, very early. Listen, man, I use my son as an example. My son, when he was 14 years old, I posted a video of this boy. At the time, he was maybe 6'2", maybe about 195 pounds. Posted a video of him sprinting full speed on one of my curved treadmills. And coaches from Baylor University saw it. They saw his size, they saw his speed, and all they could think about was his upside. And they offered him on the spot. From that point, he wound up getting, by the time he was in the 11th grade, he had already had maybe 12 D1 scholarship offers. But then we noticed that a lot of coaches, when we would reach out to try to schedule visits, wouldn't answer the phone. So I'm thinking, why is that? Now, this happened with my son, my flesh and blood. And I was on this boy about his grades. I was on him about his grades from the time he left 8th grade going into high school because I knew that the potential was there. But I also knew what was going to hinder him if he didn't do it. And I swear, by the time his senior year came around, his GPA was not high as it should have been. The coaches that were all over him freshman year, sophomore year had dissipated going into junior year. And by the time it was time to go and commit, he committed to the school he wanted to. It was still a Division I school, but when it was time to sign the scholarship papers, one of the stipulations was you got to have a minimum GPA. And he didn't meet the requirement. Now, sadly, on my part, I take a lot of the blame because I didn't really push academics as hard as I should have. Now, did I push? Absolutely, I did. Could I push harder? Of course, I could have. That's my role as a parent. That is my role as a dad. Did I push him athletically? Of course, I did. But the same way, the same energy that I gave athletically, I should have gave academically, if not more so, because you can't showcase your athletic talent if you don't qualify academically. So he wound up going to a school he didn't want to be at and was ineligible academically. And I will say this, the boy made a complete turnaround because what he wound up doing was, took care of his business in the classroom after, falling on his head, got academically eligible, transferred to the school that he originally signed to. Now he's back on the football team. So, but all of that could have been avoided had we handled our business very, very early academically. You want to be eligible. There are a couple things that college coaches look at. Yo, I'm about to hand you the keys, man. I'm about to tell you what these people look for. Listen, if I've helped 25 teams win state championships, over 1,000 kids earn scholarships, I just might know what these people are looking for. And there's no might to it. I know exactly what they want. I have these coaches on speed dial in my contacts. I can call them, hey coach, I have a kid. he just entered the portal, or I have a kid, he's a senior, he has a GPA, coach wears his film, boom, 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 boom. And anybody who knows recruiting knows how hard, next to impossible it is to reach a head coach on the phone. For me, it's not so hard because I've been doing this for years and been very, very successful with it. So I know exactly what they look for. Listen, man, let me tell you something. Regardless of the sport, two things right off the bat. Number one, you have to pass the EYE test, the eye test, meaning they have to look at you and tell whether you're serious about your sport or not. Most basketball athletes, especially in my region, in my area, and basketball coaches, I'm going to put most of the blame on the coaches because they're the ones who actually discourage a lot of kids from even going into the weight room, okay? They say the same nonsense, same bullshit. Lifting weights messes up your shot. Lifting weights stunts your growth, and all of this other nonsense. If that was the case, why in the world does every Division I program have a strength and conditioning coach? And why does every Division I program, every Division I athlete spend more time with the strength coach than they do with their head coach or position coaches? Why is that the case? All right. So the mere fact that they recruit you by looking at you. Every skilled sport, of course you have to go in a gym and work on your game. Of course you have to work on your handles. Of course you have to work on your shot. Of course you have to work on your back pedal, plant point drive, T-step. Of course you have to work on getting downhill. Of course you have to work on high and tight. Of course you have to work on these things, right? You have to work on the fundamentals of your game in order to excel at your sport. However, the way that they can tell if you're serious about your sport is not only by looking at your game, but looking at your frame, looking at your body. Are they overweight? Are they too skinny? Or do they look strong as heck? Do they look like they lift weights? Now, somebody would say, well, I don't want to look like no bodybuilder. If a college coach says you need to lift weights or I'm not going to recruit you, I think it would do you very well to get in the fucking weight room and lift some weights. Now, are we saying that basketball players should lift like football players? No. Are we saying that football players should lift like baseball players? No. Do track athletes lift like basketball players? No. Based off your sport is going to determine how you lift. And a good strength and conditioning coach is going to be able to decipher the two. The problem comes along when you have know-it-all coaches who are old school. Well, we didn't do this, so y'all ain't going to do this. And you'll find people who do this going to the winner's circle and getting rings. Okay? So, how do I get my NIL deal? How do I get my scholarship? Those two ways. Got to pass the eye test. Look like you're serious about your sport by doing the things that other people don't like to do, the hard things, the grind work. More specifically, get in the weight room. Number two, and more important than number one, academically, your grades have to be on point. You want to know why a coach will ghost your behind? If you go and the coach is looking to recruit you and your grades suck, all right? That's why, man, listen, you've heard so many testimonies about kids who go JUCO who should have gone D1, who go JUCO who should have gone D1. Man, look, I would have been D1, but I wasn't taking care of my grades until my senior year. By that time, it's way too late, because think about it. If I have 4 years to train for something and I only spend 1 out of the 4 training for it, can I really maximize what I'm trying to do? Absolutely not. If I spend 4 years with D's and C's, 3 years with D's and C's, and then my very last year, A's and B's, the weight of the D's and C's are going to have way more than the A's and B's because it's 3 out of 4 versus 1 out of 4. So parents, athletes, A's and B's, man, drive that point home. Please, 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 please make these athletes make these athletes grades priority number 1. Okay, what on earth does that have to do with name, image, and likeness, earning scholarships, and earning opportunities? Let me tell you something. You have to work so hard that you don't have to worry about waiting for somebody to put you on or waiting for somebody to make a phone call just to create an opportunity for you. Your work ethics should be so on point in all facets, grades, your body, and your game, that let me tell you something. If all of them are on point, they're going to come looking for you. And they're going to come looking for you very early. The sooner you start, the sooner they come looking. High-level Division I athletes, if you aspire to play at that level, you got to understand that most of those scholarships aren't given out to seniors. They're given out to sophomores and juniors, mostly before their junior season. That is a fact. High-level D1 scholarships aren't basically given a senior year because as far as the college coaches are concerned, that's a little bit too late. If this kid is showing promise very early, they figure this kid is showing promise as a 14, 15-year-old. Holy crap, I can't imagine where he's going to be his senior year. Let's jump on this kid right now. That's how they do it. That's how they think. If you decide that you want to wait till the summer going into your senior year to get serious about your grades and your body, man, please believe D1 ain't where you going. That is a fact. D1 is not where you're going. It's and let me tell you, the reason I know this is because 1,437 athletes I've helped go D1. So I know how they think. I know exactly what it takes. And I know exactly what they look for. So my advice, start very, very, very early. Everything, those three things in particular, your grades, your skill, your game, and your body. You have to do all three of them in order to have a legitimate shot at getting that bread, maximizing the bread that you get, and doing it for a very long time. Those are the keys, guys. Those are the keys. It don't matter if you're male or female. It doesn't matter at all. Start early as possible. That way, they're going to start early as possible, and they're going to, guys, a lot of these guys that have been recruited to Duke, to Kansas, to Kentucky, these folks have been watching these kids since they were 12, 13, 14 years old. They're not just all of a sudden, holy crap, man, let me tell you something. Back in 2000, I'll use this one kid as an example. Brilliant kid. I mean, brilliant kid in the classroom, smart kid, and incredibly skilled. The kid's name is Dedrick Lawson, one of 4 of the Lawson brothers. Started training Dedrick right after his freshman year of high school. Dedrick, the first time I saw him play, I saw him and KJ play, his older brother. Saw them playing at a scrimmage game. I was training in one team, and they were playing for the opposite team. And I said, holy crap, this child is 6'7", this child is 6'9". Dedrick was a 6'9" kid. He was a younger. He was a freshman. They were so skilled, could handle the ball, could shoot it from anywhere. They were intimidating because they were big and they talked smack and they were hooping, but they were so stiff. Dedrick was a kid, Dedrick and KJ both. Their parents were extremely controlling as far as who they let around their kids. And I was fortunate enough to say, look, man, this is what I do. I need to help. Your boys need this, and I can help them. And I don't charge out the frame. I don't care about making no name for myself, none of this crap. My only priority is to help these kids, okay? So Dedrick was a kid. He was one of 2 brothers. They would come to the gym 6 o'clock in the morning. I would meet them over at Hamilton High School in South Memphis. Okay, remember I said I got my hands on him right after his freshman year, going into his sophomore year. KJ was a junior at the time, okay? Right after that season, they went to AAU practice, and their AAU coach was Penny Hardaway. And the thing that he noticed about them was they were so much quicker, so much faster, so much more athletic. But I want to stay on track with Dedrick in particular because he was so good and he was so skilled. He did his freshman year. He did his sophomore year. He skipped his junior year and went into his senior year, okay? But his freshman and sophomore year, those summers, Dedrick had a run where this boy was frying the EYBL circuit. One game in particular was against a gentleman who was actually the #1 player in the country by the name of Ben Simmons. Dedrick was a sophomore. Ben Simmons was a junior going into his senior year, and Dedrick fried Ben Simmons, was cooking Ben Simmons, going at this man. Anybody who was there, anybody who saw it can vouch exactly for what I'm saying. But the thing was, he did this very early. Coach Calipari saw him. Coach Pastner saw him. Coach, I want to say it was Bill Self at the time up at camp. All of these coaches, they saw this boy doing this very, very early. And of course, they all offered him scholarships. And then after his, keep in mind, he started early. Okay? Now, he skips his junior year and destroys his senior year, wins Mr. Basketball, wins the state tournament MVP, wins the state championship, and then goes, and the head coach from the University of Kentucky, I think his final two schools wound up being either Memphis or Kentucky. His older brother, KJ, this boy was so doggone good that after his sophomore year, he committed to Memphis. So when it's time for Dedrick to get ready to commit, nobody really knew if he was going to go to Kentucky or Memphis, but they kind of assumed that him and KJ were so tight and they wanted to play together in college, and he wound up committing to Memphis. But the point was, he started early, and his process started early. Now, someone will say, well, he was 6'9". Of course he was good. Now, every 6'9" basketball player ain't good. You know what I'm saying? But the process started early. And I'm telling you something, if NIL would have been prevalent back then, please believe them jokers would have been able to capitalize on it. Dedrick is still playing professional basketball overseas. He's top player over in Korea right now, as a matter of fact. But I use him as one example, and there's several more examples that I could use. But the point is, they started early. Oh, I didn't even mention the fact that Dedrick was a 4.0 student in high school. KJ also was a 4.0 student in high school. You know what I'm saying? So they were brilliant kids, handled their business in the classroom, and they excelled in athletics. And the thing too was, now Dedrick and KJ, there were no exception as far as the basketball kids and the basketball parents thinking that lifting weights would mess up your shot and all that type of stuff. Yeah, they thought the same way. But it took some convincing for me to educate their parents on the proper way to train for real. It wasn't it wasn't just lifting. It was training properly, strength training properly based off your position, based off your game and your sport. So let me fast forward to the way things are now. I'll now ask a very simple question. Why in the world would somebody want to give you money to play your sport if they don't think you're going to be very good? Why in the world would somebody want to invest their money into you for your name, your image, and your likeness if you don't look like you're serious about the sport? If you don't look like you've invested the time into your body, your game, and your grades, why are they going to invest money in you? The answer is they're not. So, the word I used, invest, which means I'm putting something in. I'm putting something in with the expectation of it to grow. I'm going to sacrifice something with the hopes that what I sacrifice is going to grow and be way greater later on. I sacrifice time. I sacrifice parties. I sacrifice video games. I sacrifice social life so that I can get into a gym, move some weights that's going to have my body burning like crazy, dribble some basketball that's going to have my hands and forearms and shoulders burning like crazy, shooting 500 and 600 and 700 shots so that I can perfect shooting one shot, okay? Working out on the field on my footwork so that my transition out of a break is so crisp that I'm separating from a defender and I can catch a football. I invest time so that these people can see that I've invested the time. I'm going to be worth you investing the money in me. And I'm not going to waste your time. And here's the proof. Look, I've invested time in my body. Look at my transcript. I've invested time on my grades. Look at my game. I've invested time to be the best basketball, football, hockey, baseball player, gymnast that there is, that I can possibly be. You can see I've invested the time. And here's the thing. I've been investing the time for a very long time. So it's not a short-term thing. That's why I said when I even started, I didn't say, hey, juniors, seniors, we need to do this. I said 14, 15, the 8th grade, 9th grade, freshman, sophomore, that age, oh yeah, we got to get on it right now. As a matter of fact, 7th graders, 8th graders, parents, listen, man, those three things. That's the three-headed monster that we have to focus on for our young athletes. If you want, listen, man, these folks are just giving money away at the collegiate level now. Look at the way, man, and it's an example of what's to come. Look at these enormous contracts that these folks are getting at the NBA, the MLB level. Man, Russell Wilson just signed 1 year for $21 million for 1 year of football. And he in his 30s. These folks are, if you are a lottery pick, you are guaranteed in the tens of millions of dollars before you even step on the basketball court. And my boy Cameron Payne was the number 14 overall pick the year he came out of the draft. Lottery pick. Crazy signing just to sign his contract. Double digits in the millions already. James Wiseman was the number, listen, that boy was the number 2 overall pick. Number 2 overall. The second you sign your name, life has changed forever. And shoot, with James and like with Cam, NIL wasn't even a thing. Can you imagine the type of money that these young men would have made if NIL was huge back then? My goodness. So you think about a kid like Cooper Flagg. You think Cooper Flagg just picked up a basketball his junior year of high school? No, he's been training like that for a very, very long time. You know what I'm saying? Do you think that Jeremiah Smith up at Ohio State University started training when he was in the 11th grade? You can look at that boy and tell that he has spent his life preparing for the moments that he's in now at Ohio State. The boy is unguardable, and he ain't but 19 years old. They talking about he's NFL ready right now. That's just 2 examples, man. So my advice would be, if you want that money, if you want NIL, if you want scholarships, if you want that opportunity, do not expect to just pick up the phone because you know somebody and say, hey, man, I need a favor. That favor is only going to be met with this hard, ridiculous, obsessive work that has to be put in. And again, in all 3 phases. I keep mentioning this because it's just true. First of all, your grades gotta be on point first, or they will ghost your ass so fast. Number 2, gotta work on your game. You gotta work on your game. Do not expect your talent to be the thing that separates you from the pack. Your talent is what's going to get you there. But the third thing, your work ethic on your body is what's going to help separate you. It's going to excel your talent, and it's going to, you got to start all 3 of them. I could highlight a couple kids around the city of Memphis right now who've actually started to separate themselves at a very early age. But I don't want to do that because I don't want to. I just don't want to because I just know how the world works and especially how the city of Memphis works. But here's what I will say: if you're in the 9th grade and you already received your first scholarship offer, first of all, that is extremely rare. Second of all, don't let it go to your head. That should be the thing that ignites a fire so huge that anything a college player is doing to excel, that's what you should be working on right now. You have a 4-year head start. Right now, you know that there's an opportunity for you to go and play at the highest level. You know it. How do you secure it? How do you guarantee that it will be the case in 3 years? I use the example of my own son. His first scholarship offer, he was 14, from a Big 12 school. He did not hear from them his senior year. Thank God he flipped the switch and he's still playing at a D1 level now. But I swear there was a threat that he might not be able to because he did not take care of his business academically. Now, I will say this again, and I'll shout my boy out. If I can talk bad about him, I can talk good about him. My boy made a whole 180 turn. This little joke. It's so incredible to see him mature because I just know what it was like, man. I know what it was like trying to get my man to just understand the importance of his grades. So what I say to all you young people now is make grades priority number one. It has to be. But remember, it's a three-headed monster. Academics, your game, and your body. Let me tell you something. You cannot get around all three of them. You cannot say, I'm talented, I'll just be stronger than everybody. It don't matter what my grades are. No, indeed. You will be at a place where you don't want to be. Okay, my grades are on point, and I'm talented. Man, I ain't got to go to no weight room. Forget all that. No, sir. That's another way to really screw yourself over, man. It has to be all three. All right, now I'm going to get a third example too. My grades on point. I'm stronger than everybody. I work harder than everybody. Hey, man, you better work on your game as well as your body and your grades. It has to be all three of them. You want that NIL bread? That's how you get it. You want to earn that scholarship? That's how you do it. You want to earn the opportunities that you want so bad? That's how you get it. You work so freaking hard that they come after you. You should not have to feel like, oh man, I'm in a crunch. Let me make this phone call. 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 And let me see who I can call to hook me up and put me on. That's the laziest, sorriest, weak-ass way to get on as opposed to putting your own self on. Never forget when Jay-Z said, and you know, if you really put me on, put yourself on then. You know what I'm saying? Somebody trying to take credit for work that he put in. You know what I mean? And I'm the exact same way, bro. Don't get me started. I'm stay on task. That's for another episode. But understand, don't ever expect nobody to put you on. Ever. Don't expect nobody to put you on. Don't expect nobody to do you no favors. Work so freaking hard that the opportunities come looking for you. Make your name so great that when it goes across somebody's desk, they either gonna cringe and say, holy crap, they're about to take my job. Or they like, holy crap, we gotta have this one. Do I want to talk about that right now? No, I don't. Not yet. Man, listen. Here's what it boils down to. Work your ass off. Leave no doubts and make no excuses. The opportunities will come beating down your door. If you focus and work your tail off, no excuses. 3 things. Your grades, your game, and your body. It has to be all 3. That's how you separate yourself. That's how you make sure that the opportunities come looking for you. And your success will be absolutely limitless. All right? Real quick, man. Shout out my man Keith Cannon, R&B Dogs, once again, sponsorship. Shout out my new sponsor, Sugar Ghost Ice Cream Shop. We are about to do a partnership where we're going to have a shop set up at my gym at Shabazz Fitness where we're about to sell freaking protein ice cream. Yes, Lord. Protein ice cream. You heard me right. The perfect recovery snack for right after a training session. Listen, man, I appreciate everybody who listened. I appreciate everybody who subscribed. I appreciate all the love, all the feedback. I really, really appreciate it. Thank y'all so very much. Hey, man, is that it? All right, y'all. I'm Coach Shabazz. I love y'all.
24 hours in